What if the very thing you've been fighting to hold together is the thing keeping you from peace? What if clarity does not arrive through effort, but through release? We are taught to grip life tightly, to plan, to predict, to control. We are told that if we just think harder, push further, manage better, everything will finally make sense. And yet, here you are, tired, overthinking, carrying a weight you can't quite name. Your mind feels like a storm that never rests. Thoughts collide, memories replay, fears echo into the future. And somewhere beneath all of that noise, there is a quiet knowing whispering, "This isn't how it's meant to feel." But the storm feels personal, doesn't it? As if you are the chaos, as if the anxiety, the doubt, the tension, that's who you are. Yet storms don't define the sky, they only pass through it. Still, the ego tightens its grip. It says, if I let go, everything will fall apart. It says, if I stop controlling, I will lose myself. So you hold on tighter to old stories, to old pain, to versions of yourself that once kept you safe. And the mind keeps spinning, like it believes movement is survival. But what if control isn't strength? What if it's fear wearing armor? What if the mind has been trying to protect you, but no longer knows how to rest? Take a moment now. Don't fix anything. Don't analyze this. Just notice. Notice how much effort it takes to hold everything together. And ask yourself, what am I afraid would happen if I stopped? Because the truth is, clarity does not shout. It waits. Control promises certainty, but delivers exhaustion. It convinces you that if you just stay alert, if you just stay tense, you'll be ready for whatever comes. But look closer. Has control ever truly made you peaceful? Or has it only made you vigilant? The mind becomes a watchtower, scanning for threats that may never arrive, replaying moments that are already gone. Overthinking isn't intelligence, it's fear looping in disguise. You think you're solving something, but you're only circling it. And the ego, the part of you that believes it must manage existence, doesn't know when to stop. It learned long ago that letting go felt dangerous, so it built strategies, identities, defenses. I am the one who stays strong. I am the one that doesn't fall apart. I am the one who must be in control. But identities are cages when they're built from fear. Notice how heavy it feels to constantly be someone, to uphold an image, to maintain certainty. The mind is like clenched fists, always gripping, never resting. And yet, everything meaningful in life flows. Breath flows, emotions flow, time flows. Try to hold a river and it resists you. Release it and it carries you. Control creates tension because it is fundamentally unnatural. It's an attempt to freeze a living process. And life does not want to be frozen. It wants to be felt. Close your eyes if you can. Notice your breath, not controlling it, just noticing. See how it knows what to do without your interference. In this moment, your heart is beating, your body is breathing, your awareness is present. None of this requires effort. So ask yourself gently, what else in my life might already know how to unfold if I stopped interfering? Letting go is often misunderstood. It's not passivity. It's not weakness. It's not resignation. Surrender is not saying, I don't care. It's saying, I trust. Trust doesn't mean you know what will happen. It means you're willing to meet what happens without armor. The ego hears surrender as danger,
but the soul hears it as relief. Imagine carrying a heavy bag for miles. You've forgotten what it's like to walk without weight. You don't need to throw the bag away forever. Just set it down for one moment. Notice what changes. Surrender begins in the body. The jaw softens, the shoulders drop, the breath deepens, and suddenly space appears. Not answers, not solutions, space. And in that space, clarity has room to emerge. Clarity isn't something you chase, it's something that surfaces when the water stills. Picture a lake stirred by wind. Mud and debris cloud the surface. You don't clear the water by stirring harder. You wait, and slowly, without effort, the sediment settles. That's what happens when you let go. The mind stops fighting itself. The nervous system exhales, and what remains is awareness. Not the voice of fear, not the voice of control, but the quiet intelligence beneath them. Sit with this. Notice where you are gripping life unnecessarily. Ask, what would it feel like to soften here?
You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are the space in which they appear. Thoughts are clouds. Emotions are weather. But you are the sky. The sky does not chase clouds away. It does not judge the storm. It allows. And in allowing, everything passes. This is the clarity that appears when control dissolves. The recognition that you were never the storm. You were the one watching it. When you stop identifying with every thought, something profound happens. Silence becomes alive. Stillness becomes spacious. You begin to feel connected, not to ideas, but to presence. And presence is deeply healing. Pain that was resisted begins to soften. Emotions that were suppressed begin to move. Not violently, naturally, like waves reaching shore and retreating again. You don't drown in waves by floating. You drown by fighting. So let yourself float. Let feelings rise. Let them speak without interpretation. They don't need fixing. They need witnessing. And as you witness them, they lose their grip. This is inner freedom, not control over experience, but intimacy with it. Stay here for a moment. Breathe. Notice how clarity feels less like a thought and more like a calm recognition. When you stop forcing clarity, it finds you. Not as an answer, but as alignment. You begin to sense what matters, what doesn't, what is yours to carry, and what was never meant to be. Decisions feel simpler. Boundaries feel cleaner. Life feels less like a battlefield and more like a conversation. You don't need to dominate the moment. You meet it, and something unexpected appears. Peace without conditions. Not because everything is perfect, but because you're no longer at war with imperfection. This is the paradox. The moment you stop trying to control life, life starts cooperating. Not always how you expect, but often how you need. And trust deepens. You realize that clarity was never missing. It was buried beneath noise, and silence has always been your home. You don't need to escape the world to live this way. You carry this clarity with you into conversations, into challenges, into uncertainty. Let control loosen its grip again and again. Not perfectly, not permanently, gently. And when you forget, that's okay. You remember again by returning to the breath, to the body, to presence. Before we end, sit with this final reflection. You don't need to become someone new. You need to stop holding yourself hostage. Let go and notice what remains. I release what I cannot control.
I trust the intelligence of life. In stillness, clarity reveals itself.